Hi guys, and welcome back to the How I Failed in Business podcast. As always, I'm Sophia Grace.
And I'm Rob Spence.
We're back again to delve into more stories from business leaders of their business blunders, mishaps, and a little bit of mayhem.
That sounded really good. I like that.
We've usually, in our overview episodes where there's no one else, we have the script sort of printed out in front of us that ChatGPT has kindly written.
Hold on. It's not just ChatGPT. It's
With a Rob Spence flair.
Yeah, it's like 99% ChatGPT.
Rob GTP.
Yeah, what 1% of I. But no, that sounded good. I'm happy to keep going if you are.
Okay, well, let's carry on then. And let's deflect from me. Today we've got Tom Clarke in. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Do you want to tell us a little
Tom.
bit about yourself?
Can do, yeah. So my name's Tom Clarke. I'm the founder of a company called Reasonate. Basically specialise in everything websites. So that is design, development, maintenance and marketing. Been doing that professionally for 3.5 years. Been doing it both professionally and as a hobby for nearly 13 years. So I've kind of been around the block in that sense that I've hopefully by now learned what's good and what's not good. And I kind of pass that knowledge over to our clients as well. Got clients across the world. Some in Hinckley, where we're based, and we've got a client in Hanoi in Vietnam. We've got a client we've got a few clients in Middlesbrough, and then we've got a client in Miami as well. So kind of all over the place, really. We don't specialise, or we don't kind of distinguish in clients by their location or kind of the industry we work in. We work with everybody and whoever wants to work with us, really. So, and I know a lot of business people will say you need a niche, you need to kind of communicate to a specific amount of people or a specific target audience, but we genuinely don't have one, and that's not a choice. That's just kind of the way that we've gone. So
It's funny you should say that. I was having the same conversation with someone at the expo on Thursday. I think this whole niching thing is going to die out in a year or two. I think niching down is if I'm honest, one of the worst things a business can do, personally, because you're really pigeonholing yourself into a certain sector. I think, yes, the marketing message around a certain offering or a certain product should be niched, so you're kind of targeting a certain audience. But the second you niche down, you're losing 90% of everyone else you could work with. Right?
Yeah. And I think, especially with websites, there's quite a lot of people in websites that have come from different trades. So the first one that comes to mind, there's a guy who used to be a tradesman himself. Okay. He now only builds websites for tradespeople because he probably knows what they need better than someone like me who doesn't know anything about the trades. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because going back to my point on not working in a particular niche, what I do for an electrician could also work for a builder, or it could work for a finance company or an insurance company or whatever. So if I just work within one niche, I can only recycle the same thing so many times, and then they'll all start to communicate with their customers. Yeah, they'll all start to look the same or feel the same or communicate in the same way. So I think niching probably does work for some people based on their experience. But for me, as someone who, before my own business, worked in lots of different industries from asbestos to pubs, then I don't really have a specific set of knowledge in one area. I can kind of learn about lots of different niches and industries and all that kind of thing, and meet lots of different people, because a guy that runs a building company is going to have different expectations to someone who runs a finance company, and trying to mold your business to communicate with lots of different people means that you can be a jack of all trades. And I don't think master of none's right, but I think in that way you can try and find who is your ideal client. So for me, I'm probably talking myself out of people here, but builders, as great as they are, they're a nightmare for me to work with, because they're on site all day, trying to get in touch with them. What do you think about the website? What do you need for the website? You know, what text do you want? What can you send me some images of the work you've done? It takes them weeks to do it because they're just so busy with the work they do. And that's obviously, that's what they do. But other niches, so for example, like a finance or an insurance company, they're typically at their computer all day. They reply to me like that. So we've all got different people we want to work with and speak to, and you've just got to find that out, I guess, which is what we're still trying to do. Do you ever find that? I don't know if you do ever kind of nail that down.
No.
We definitely ran into the exact same problem with people, with tradesmen trying to get, we've got this sale for you, and they're up at, what? Up a ladder somewhere.
They're hard. And like I say, but do you know what? I really love that. Like, would your life be boring
on the job
if you just looked after like the marketing just for one sector?
It's I mean, that's the nature of the beast with what we're doing, outsourced everything. I mean, there's a board just up there, and I think there's maybe 10 different sectors written on it.
And the rest, and because I think like I think one of the beautiful things about marketing is every day is a learning day. Marketing itself changes by the day. You know, I don't know if you were around. Did you ever do any websites on Dreamweaver?
I've heard of it, but my first experience was with Wix about 13 years ago, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. Stay well clear of it.
No,
but
sorry, Wix. But that's completely lost our partnership deal there that we had rolled up. You know, but marketing's changing, but it's nice to like you say, you get to work with a tradesperson one day, a financial services person the day, a gym brand the next day. You're constantly learning. I remember when I set up the business and I was doing a lot of content writing and website content, I had to write like literally 20 blogs for a shampoo that stops balding. Now, I've got the thickest hairline. Like, I'm the worst person you want for that. But I learned so much about why people go bald and the effects on caffeine mixed with testosterone and hair follicles. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't go, I can write a blog about hair loss. Yeah. But you never knew that, did you?
I did, and I feel so much wiser for it.
Thank
you for sharing.
You are
I think I might need to read that blog.
I'll send you some tips.
Yeah, I mean, I don't drink any caffeine, so it must be clearly the testosterone.
obviously.
But I mean, we do blogs and SEO for some of our clients as well, and during the process of writing those blogs, you find stuff out in the industry that they work in or whatever. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that, and I'll bear that in mind, because you never know, you might be a customer of the business or the industry that you're looking at. So, learning about lots of different industries is definitely something that I'm interested in. And I don't think, I've kind of chucked myself into the networking scene recently. I can't go to a networking event and say, oh yeah, I only work with plumbers, and there's one plumber in the corner, because I can only speak to him. Yeah. I'm kind of taken away from my own business in that respect. So, I think niching down is definitely overrated, but it can work for some people, I guess, depending on the business that you're in.
So why websites? What drew you to website development?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I hated IT at school. Okay. So I did it at A-level, and I distinctly remember a lesson where we were doing like HTML and CSS in Notepad and stuff. And I just remember sitting there thinking, can I swear?
Gosh, can.
Yeah.
This is fucking boring.
I can't say that.
This is really boring, and I don't want to do this. I want to be at McDonald's, with my mates, because I just got my first car and stuff. Like, I'm not interested in this. So I then dropped it for year 13. Never thought of going back into it. And then I went to uni to do my degree in business and marketing. And to be totally honest, the reason why I did that degree was because my other subjects were media and graphics, and I hated them. So it was like, well, business is the only thing I can do. I was never one for pushing myself in that kind of respect. So just went to DMU, did business and marketing. And then, the website thing just kind of fell into my lap. I remember one day, as I said previously, I went onto Wix, and I was just starting to get into the gym at this point. I was like, how can I mix my new passion for going to the gym with my newfound skills in websites? So I started to build, and there's a website now out there. I believe it's called Hustle.
Okay.
It used to be called Pay As You Gym. And it was basically a big database where you could put in your postcode, and you could, let's say you're a businessman or woman, you're on the move, you need to find a gym. You can put in your postcode, LE10, whatever. Oh, there's a gym here. They do a day pass for £8 or whatever it might be. And I've created the homepage for it with the search bar and stuff, and was like, okay, what do I do now? How do I take this any further? And then I contacted a company, because I was working at an asbestos company at the time in Nottingham, as a marketing guy, which is really hard to make asbestos sexy. You can't do it. It's really hard.
Notoriously unsexy.
Yeah, and all the people that are dealing with it, like the clients like WH Smith and Sky and stuff, like, no offense to any of people that might be watching this that are kind of fitting this demographic, but they're all kind of suited and booted 60-year-old blokes that don't really care. As long as they're compliant, they're not really bothered.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I mix these two passions? And then the company that was working with that company was a website company based in Nottingham, and I said to them, right, I've got this idea, how much would it cost me to build it? And they said it would be $8,000 because you need to do all the database stuff, which, looking back now, I don't think it was bullshit, but there's much easier ways of doing it. So it was like $8,000 plus that, and I was like, I ain't got that. I was like a 19-year-old student. I don't have, even with the maintenance and the grants, I don't have that amount of money. So I just shelved it, and then about a year or so later, I was living in my flat in Hinckley, still a student, and I was like, okay, I'm still going to the gym, and I'm doing a business degree. How can I put something into practice? So I then started my gymwear company, and that's where the love for websites came in again, because I was playing around with the website, and then when you get that sale, it's like, my website's working, and then you change and tweak something else. I've just got 10 sales. And so that kind of addiction, I mean, it could have been websites, it could have been social media, it could have been anything. It just happened to be websites. And then I just dabbled for the next 8 or so years until I took it professional. So that's how I kind of fell into the website game, as it were.
Do you think that you would have pursued it if it had been social media, or do you think that there was some sort of pull to you that was the sort of back-end website kind of side of it?
I don't know, to be totally honest, because maybe somewhere deep down in me, there's always been this kind of nerdy kind of person that, like, for me, there's nothing better than when you do something on a website, especially from the coding perspective, and it works, and then you show a client or someone, it's like, how did you do that? That's amazing. Nowadays, you've got ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff that can kind of do it for you. But back in those days, when you try something, it's like, oh my God, it does what I want it to do. With social media and stuff, I didn't really get that same buzz. So obviously I was doing all my social media stuff and getting all the interactions and working with influencers and stuff, but I didn't quite get the same buzz out of it. And that's why now I get a lot of inquiries now where they say like, do you do social media? And it's like, I think it's quite easy for me to do. I could go and do it for you, but because I'm not passionate about it, I won't get the results that someone else that is passionate about it will get you. So, I've just kind of, and going back to niching down, when I started the business, I did print, social media, SEO, Google Ads, every form of offline and online marketing, because I didn't know what I was actually that good at. Obviously, websites was my main thing, but all the other services kind of feed into it a little bit. And then I kind of, after 6 months, thought, why am I trying to sell print products? I don't know a printer that can do it for me. I don't know how to manage it. I'm not a graphic designer, so why am I doing it? And then talking about niche, and someone said, niche down and focus on the one or two things that you're really good at, which for me was websites and SEO. And then it's just stuck that way ever since. Yeah. And then, if I didn't want to be a full service marketing agency. I wanted to be a specific person, that go-to guy for that one thing. Because I know lots of other people that are go-to people for social media and for graphic design and stuff. And I wanted to be the one for websites. So that's where I kind of stayed on that path and stuck with that. So
nice. Maybe there's a discussion after this where we discuss who you pass that social media work to moving forward.
Perhaps there's someone sat in the middle.
We need
here.
someone to pass some good websites to. Do you know what I mean? So, but business is going well. You said off camera 3.5 years. Is that right? Yeah. Things are going really well, and I know you're going through a transition of taking on your first employee, which we might kind of touch upon later on today, but. I said to you upstairs, I've got a lot of admiration for yourself with how public you've been about burnout and your experiences with burnout. And it's something that various people have kind of come on the podcast and spoken about. It's something I've been through. Sophia doesn't work hard enough to understand what that is and stuff. So, sorry, that was really harsh. Tell me about your recent experience with burnout. What happened there?
Yeah, so it was literally this week. It was Wednesday afternoon. And I'm this kind of person that once I get stuck into something, once I'm in the flow, I can't walk away from it. And that will typically mean that I start working from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. Because I know that if I interrupt myself and walk away from something, I'll come back the next day and it's like, I can't remember where I was. And I then get frustrated at myself and worked up, and I don't want to let this client down. And if I've got really good ideas and all this kind of stuff, I need to do it now before I forget. It was Wednesday afternoon and I was just like working and stuff, and I started to get a headache because I was stressing about a website that I'm working on for a builder. I'm chasing a guy for a contract. I'm doing all the networking stuff that I'm doing. I'm responding to other clients' emails. My little boy's crying downstairs, and all this lots of stuff going on. I'm trying to kind of like get rid of it in my brain through listening to music, which actually made it worse. And as the day was going on, this headache was starting from the top of my head and working its way backwards to the point where my neck was actually starting to ache. And it got to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was literally defeated. And I was like, I'm going to have to stop. And I said to my wife, I'm just going to jump in the shower and make myself feel a little bit better, whatever. And then my whole body was aching. Like, there was joints in my body I didn't know I had that started to ache. Like, my legs were aching. I had an ache. For some reason, my biceps were hurting, even though I hadn't touched anything. I hadn't touched them in the gym or anything for a while. And my whole body was aching. I was like, I'm just going to lie in bed for a bit, have a quick lie down and maybe I'll feel better. That was at about 5 o'clock in the evening. And I didn't get out of bed until 2 o'clock the following afternoon. So what's that, 21 hours-ish? And like I was having shivers going down my back and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't like I had man flu or anything. It was just that I was burnt out. I was just physically and mentally battered from trying to compete with stuff going on personally, like obviously, like I said, with my little boy crying downstairs, like that sends your cortisol up to a new level. And I know obviously my wife's dealing with it, but you can still hear it. And then all the work stuff, I think my brain was just overloaded and overstimulated, and it was just starting to switch off. And yeah, just lay in bed, and eventually got out of bed the next day and I felt a little bit better, but then it was starting to affect, like I had a sore throat. Like I said, my neck was aching, my shoulders felt heavy, and it was just awful. And like I say, I'm the kind of person that I can't switch off. I don't know if it's because I run my own business and the buck stops with me. So when you close your laptop, you go downstairs, you then open in your phone, checking your emails, who's messaged me on LinkedIn, you know, what's going on in all these WhatsApp groups or whatever. When can you get this website done by, whatever? You can't switch off from it. And obviously that, I guess that kind of does come with the territory of starting your own business. But yeah, there's a time where I do need to find a balance, because ultimately those 21 hours I spent in bed were 21 hours that I lost from working, being with my little boy or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it's great that I can chuck myself in and try and work as hard as possible. But at the end of the day, I've then lost another day of work, essentially, where I could have done more ideas, sold to more clients, or, you know, helped another client or whatever. So yeah, but burnout is definitely, it's not something that I really believed in, you know, the typical blokey thing of like, just get on with it or whatever. You know, it's not like I'm up a scaffold, like trying to put a roof up or whatever, because that's physically demanding. My job is just building websites, which is more of a mental thing than a physical thing. But
it can just be as exhausting.
Yeah, definitely. And the pressure of, you know, the rest of the business and like I said, the personal side of it as well, it can all come on top quite easily. And it probably only happens to me about once a year, and I'm still trying to find a way of how to manage it. But like I say, I'm not the kind of guy that can just close a laptop lid and go downstairs and pretend nothing's happening. I can't do it. I've been told that I'm addicted to stress, which I think probably comes from flicking through social media. You know, you're on Instagram and you're just like flicking through the reels and stuff, and by the time you know it, an hour's gone. It's like that constant stimulation, and that stimulation also comes into working in your own business as well. So it's something that I'm definitely trying to work on, but whether I'll ever get over it, I don't know. It's just part of my personality, I guess.
That happens so often with business owners. I've been through it. Same as yourself. You know, like I said, that everything stops with you. You know, I used to wake up, 5 o'clock in the morning. My desk was in my bedroom. The first thing I'd do, my partner at the time would still be in bed. I'd go straight over to the desk, just work away as quietly as possible, checking my emails, even before I've had a coffee, before I've even got ready or anything. You know, and I don't think it's like anything that you can overcome really easily. And I find it interesting how the body like does genuinely just shut you down.
Just shut down,
Like, because like you say, you've clearly got some cold and flu symptoms there. Don't tell the government, they'll say it's COVID or something, lock you all down. But like your body does just say, look, enough is enough. You need to rest, don't you, I think.
I think I'm someone who, even though apparently I've never suffered from a burnout.
I'm so sorry. I'm not going to hear this.
I get chronic migraines, which are horrible. And when I was, luckily, I don't get burnt out now because we have a good balance here. But when I was studying for my degree in my final year, doing my dissertation, and you're just writing like what just turns into shit, like you can't even see the words. And I just remember I was like bedbound for like 3 days from writing. And it's like, God, that's pathetic. But your body does just say, like, if you're not going to give yourself this break, I'm going to force you to take it. And it's like, I gave you all these warning signs and you didn't do anything. It's like your car's breaking down. You know, you've had the check engine light on for so long. And that's it. It's gone. Which is a shame. But I can completely see where, being a business owner, you get this feeling of, well, if I'm not stressed, it means that I'm not working hard enough. Which means I'm not making as much money as I could, which means I'm not building my brand as much as I could. And it's like a way to physically manifest proof that you're working so hard and you're doing something worthwhile. Like that sort of sense. In that, not that it's a badge of honor, but that you've sort of been like, well, I couldn't have worked any harder. Look what happened.
I think it's, for me as well, I'm so scared of, I don't know if this is an ego thing, to be totally honest, but I'm scared of going back to either working for someone else and not being listened to, or going back into teaching. It's like, because if my business fails, like if I'm not good at doing websites, then I'm probably not going to be good at doing anything else. I think my backup plan would always, if I absolutely had to, it would either be number one, train to be a PT because I like going to the gym, or number two, just be a cover teacher for like £90 a day. If worse came to worse and I had to pay my bills, the ultimately worst thing that I could possibly go to would be stacking shelves. Like that, for me, in respect to people that do it, but that would be like the last resort for me to, you know, because it's long shifts, it's probably hard work, it's probably physically demanding as well.
With navigating a young family that you've got as well.
Exactly, yeah. That pressure as well. So yeah, I just don't, if the business failed, I wouldn't know where I'd turn or where else I'd go. So that's where that kind of pressure aspect comes in, that if this fails, then I'm going to have to go back to something that I hate doing.
Yeah.
Which for you is teaching.
Yeah, teaching or working for people that, like in a business where you're just a number and you're not listened to, or, you know, you think you've got good ideas and they're not willing to try them. So when I worked at the asbestos company, I'll talk about this because the guy's a twat. The guy that ran it, he got me as a marketing guy. Okay, so I'm fresh out of uni. I've got all these ideas. Okay, well, why don't we try this? No. Okay, well, let's try this then. No, we're not doing that. Why have you recruited me then? Yeah. And then 8 months later, he got rid of me and got the marketing agency he had back on board that he was complaining about. And it's like, that for me is my worst nightmare. I'm not going back to that situation.
Yeah.
So if I have to work 12 hours a day to avoid it, then I will.
Yeah.
But then I obviously can't do that every single day, because then you burn out. And then you're not working over that week or that month or whatever, you're not working that same amount of hours anyway.
Exactly.
So, and I think the issue for me as well, to be totally honest, is because I work from home, there's no sense of, I can leave everything in the office. Yeah. Everything's at home. My personal life is at home. My professional life's at home. So that's where I played with the idea of getting an office, but then it's expensive and it'd be just for me. So all of these different things all the time.
I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the reasons why we got an office in the first place.
This was discussed between the staff of your business today at lunch.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
we were talking about working from home. We've just brought on a new staff member. His first day was today. And we were just talking about how, because they've had to commute quite a while, and we were talking about why we actually never thought we would like only working in the office, and we like working from home sounds so nice, because you as a just an employee, you kind of know that you can maybe bunk off a little bit.
Can you now?
Well, we don't do it, but it's you know, it's quite appealing. And then we were like, but we know that that's why it sounds so enticing. And we were talking about, but it's horrible because you've probably got your desk in your room. If you're just earning like standard salary, you're not going to have a home office kind of thing, or at the most you are, but you have that sense of you're never really at home and you're never really at work, and it just starts to marry together. And, you know, like you say, even if that laptop's shut, that phone's right there. And I assume everything's all on the same sort of devices for you. It's not a case of there's a work phone and there's a personal phone, and the lines just completely bleed because you are the business. And in the same way, it's interchangeable.
Yeah, definitely. I think COVID's a weird one with that, because like you say, I won't name them, but I've got friends who work from home for quite large companies. And I know for a fact that they're going to Costa or getting a haircut or going to the gym.
They've got their mouse set to move every
sort
of 20 minutes.
You can buy devices
you can buy now,
to move mice.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
I know all about it. Don't you worry. You don't need to tell me.
Is that what the Amazon order was earlier?
But like, I think for me, it's a weird thing, because obviously websites being a digital thing, I can do it from anywhere. I can do it from home.
Yeah.
I can do it in a coffee shop. I can do it in Bali if I wanted to, for example. But then it's just a weird thing, because traditionally you are kind of, I think it's maybe from school, you're used to going into an environment where you learn and work, and then you go home and that's a separate kind of life. Whereas working from home, I think don't get me wrong, I enjoy it because I've got my own toilet, my own fridge. I know where everything is. I'm quite picky in that aspect. When you go to like another office and it's, you're sharing the kitchen with 16 other businesses, and there's like coffee stained mugs everywhere, and I can't be dealing with that. That I think COVID in a way has created the working from home philosophy, but a lot of people have then gone back to actually need the office space to be able to escape.
There is a massive migration back to the office that we're seeing now, because I think people also like, I don't talk to anyone. It's just so unhealthy. Like mentally, I'm drawing an absolute blank.
Which for me is actually the talking to people aspect. I think website people are quite introverted and hermit, by nature. I'm trying to break that stigma a little bit.
Well, you're on the podcast.
Exactly.
You are the coolest web designer we've met.
That's good. I don't think it's that hard, to be fair. But like I'm quite happy to stick my headphones on and work all day and not speak to anyone, apart from if it's a client or something. Whereas when I did work in an office, like when I worked in the asbestos company, for example, there was a guy there who was a little bit older than me, who was the sales guy, and I'd find myself easily, led astray of, we'd go to Nando's and, Josh, we need to be back in the office. We've overrun our hour lunch. Oh no, I'm fine with him. He's all right. And then we'd be there for 2 hours, and then we'd get it in the neck. Whereas when you're at home, you can get up when you want. You can work in whatever clothes you want, or whatever clothes you don't want to wear. Exactly, yeah. It's kind of your rules, but then sometimes I feel like you do need rules, and that can come with an office environment sometimes. So it's a strange thing that I'm still trying to work out in my head of what's the best way to do it.
You might need to start navigating it quickly if you're thinking of bringing on scaling up the team a little
bit. Exactly, yeah. And that's what I'm trying to find someone relatively local, because I've said to them, look, there might be a hybrid aspect to it. I don't know yet. But then it's that working from home. I've basically recently I outsourced a website project because it was only a small website. And I was like, right, let's see if we can do this working from home thing. So I outsourced it to a girl in Wales. And it wasn't that bad, but my wife calls me in this respect. I'm a bit of a control freak. I like things to be done on a website a very particular way. And then I ended up going through the website and changing a lot of things to the way that I would do it anyway. So it was kind of like, what was the point of me outsourcing it? So this is why I'm still trying to work out, if I hire someone, do they need to be experienced or do I need to train them? And they obviously come with pros and cons. And then location-wise, theoretically, they could be in Malaysia for all I care, if they're really good. But then I'll never see them face-to-face and have that kind of one-to-one relationship with them. So again, these are all things that I'm trying to work out in my tiny little brain. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a short little break there. We're going to take a short little break, and then we've got some more games, some more stories to share. So thank you for viewing so far. Stay tuned for this quick 2-minute break. We'll be back in just a second. Sophia, as well as being an incredible podcast host, you also work for an incredible company called Paragon Sales Solutions.
I do work for an incredible company, and that company is called Paragon Sales Solutions.
If you were to kind of explain to a complete stranger in a smoking area or, down the park, which happens quite a lot, how would you explain what Paragon do?
Paragon are a fully outsourcing sales and marketing company. They handle everything top to bottom, from telesales, digital marketing, social media management, web design, lead generation, appointment setting. They cover it all.
You hit the nail on the head, really. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Maybe if I had someone who was, I don't know, perhaps quite senior in that company, they could give me a few more ins and outs on exactly what it is that Paragon do.
Well, I was hoping you'd help me, to be honest, because I don't even know half the time. But absolutely, if people were looking for any of those, web design, social media, any kind of marketing or sales, how should they get in touch?
They should contact us on... No, they shouldn't. They can visit www.paragonsalesolutions.co.uk, and they can find all the information they need there, including quick inquiry forms, or they can send us an email to hello@paragonsalesolutions.co.uk again. We are also all over social media. That's where we put a lot of our latest offers and things that we're doing, getting up to, so you can follow us there if you want to see what we're doing. Again, we are Paragon Sales Solutions pretty much everywhere.
There we go, like a pro. No one will know that we just made that up on the spot. Welcome back to How I Failed in Business with our guest Tom and the ever lovely Sophia and myself, Rob. We are going to enter in to our first section of today's podcast, our fail of the week. Cue the music, Molly.
Oh, she was on it.
She was on it. She's got this. Look, I saw it. She's lifted us into this. So, fail of the week. It's a new little section we're going to introduce to the podcast, where our guests will share with us, and with you, a fail that's happened this week in business or in personal life. So, Tom, you said you've got a nice little story you'd like to share with us. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So, it kind of leads into my philosophy of paying once and not paying twice. So, a few years ago, we got our garden done by people of the travelling persuasion, should we say.
I see.
Cutting a lot of corners, not doing things properly. Great price, but it's not suited as long term. So, as you do with stuff that you've done cheaply, you try and polish the turd, as it were.
Yeah.
We tried to polish our turd, which is the garden, and it's not really worked out. So, Tuesday, before I burnt out, which might have contributed to it because I was stressed about this as well, I bought a crowbar from B&Q and started smashing the garden up. So we're talking lifting the deck in.
I was just going to say, that's not how you rip up turf, you know that.
I know, well,
Just
I
hacking
don't
at
have
it.
to worry about ripping up the turf because it's just sitting on mud, to be honest.
Okay.
It's got weeds growing through it and all sorts.
Yeah.
And my cat decides to use it as a toilet every now and again, which is kind of fertilising the weeds.
Happens,
But yeah, I just got a crowbar and started lifting all the panels up. And it took me 20 minutes because the decking's been painted over about 2 or 3 times. I can't find the screws to unscrew it. So I was getting a crowbar and getting it under the panels, and because it's been screwed in about 16 different places, you have to then pop 16 different screws. And it got to probably the 3rd panel, and I was just beaten. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I guess my fail of the week in that respect is trying to do your garden yourself and polishing the turd when it's not going to work. Just pay someone to do it the first time properly. If they don't do it the first time properly, then definitely get someone to do it the second time properly, and that leads into sales, marketing, websites, and all that kind of thing. So my garden is currently a state. There is country cream Cuprinol paint all over the slabs. The fence is half painted. The sleepers are half painted. It's all over the slate. There's decking boards all over the garden. There's cat shit next to the extension because she decides to use it as a toilet. There's weeds sprouting up everywhere. So yeah, my garden, considering my house is up for sale at the minute.
I was
Yeah, you've
just about
painted
to
an
make a
image of
joke.
your home office.
It's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
So that's my favourite
That's
of
the
the week.
fail
I
of the
think.
week.
Yeah.
But very relevant, like you say, you know, I guess you get this with websites all the time.
Yeah.
You get the person that they got their neighbour's cousin to do it for free because they're all cheap because they're studying at college.
Yeah.
Then you have to come in and try and map up the edges when actually
All the
it's better
time.
just to rip it up and start again with a pro, really.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
speaking of gardens, one of the stories you shared with us upstairs was that you have a little, can I say, a side hustle?
I guess it's a side business, side hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us about the
for now.
side hustle. What's that?
So it's not necessarily something that I'm shouting about at the minute, but last year, as you do, I don't know if it's the I don't like the term entrepreneur for me, because I feel like an entrepreneur is someone who takes a banana and turns it into a milkshake. They don't take the banana and sell the banana. So all I'm doing is I'm creating websites, but I'm using other people's software and stuff. So I don't count myself as an entrepreneur. I just run a couple of businesses. So the entrepreneurial flair, I guess, is that, as you do, I was sat at home, little boy's in bed, wife was out with friends or whatever. I was sat on my Xbox, and there's a website called Flipper. I don't know if you've heard of Flipper. And it's a website that you can sell websites, domains, software, and all this kind of stuff on. And I typically flick through there just to get some ideas and see what people are doing.
Yeah.
And as I was scrolling through it, I filtered it down to UK businesses, and there was a garden furniture business on there. I thought I'd just have a look, flick through it. This guy had done, in the 3 years he'd ran it, 2.2 million in sales, mostly from advertising, like Google ads and stuff. And he was making decent money from it, and he didn't want much for it. And I'm the kind of person that I don't like taking money out of my business account. I like keeping it there. So me and Rachel, my wife, live off minimum director's salary, and we take a dividend every month, minimal, for childcare for George, my little boy. So the business account was popping, and I thought, rather than it sitting there doing nothing, let's try and put it to use. So I started negotiating with this guy, and long story short, I bought this website off him, and it was on WordPress and WooCommerce, which it's all right, but the website was pretty bang average. And I was like, if you've done 2 million sales in 3 years with this website, what could I achieve with my knowledge of websites and, you know, making it look much better? So I bought it off him, transferred everything over. Now, part of the contract was that when you sell the website and the business to me, you then tell me every single supplier that you work with. He passed over 6 or 7 suppliers, and there's about 20. So I was then getting orders for products that I'd never even heard of, for brands I'd never heard of. And then I had to contact the supplier and say, yeah, you don't know who I am, but I bought this business off this guy. I need to renew my contract with you. Then they'd renew the contract, and they'd go, here's your pro forma invoice. Let's say, for example, I'd sold a shed for $1,000. The cost price was $1,500 because it had changed, because he'd not kept up to date with it. If you imagine that times 10,500, I'm still to this day going through all the products and having to change them. Some are discontinued, some don't exist. Some are out of stock till next year, whatever. So I'm still having to go through it all while still trying to market the business and sell products at the same time, which is really difficult. So that's something that I'm trying to build. And it was kind of say a passion project. I'm not passionate about garden furniture, but I'm passionate about websites.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd chuck myself into a completely new industry, trying to learn about it and see where it goes. Worst comes to worst, if I make a decent website out of it and, start getting some decent sales, I can then sell it for a little bit more than I bought it for. End of story. But I'm trying to grow it. The Trustpilot page wasn't anything to shout about, so I've had to redo all of that and just all these different things because he didn't maintain it properly. I've then taken it on and I'm trying to do it properly. And it's got a mailing list of about 6,000 customers and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
it's not, I'm in touch with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, it's just trying to balance my full-time work, which is my website stuff, and then trying to make a success of another business, and then try not to burn out.
I was just
it probably
at least you've not got too much on your plate.
I was going to say people are probably watching. He's complaining about burnout, but he's trying to balance two businesses.
And don't forget doing your own garden.
Exactly, I'm trying to do my own garden in the evening, and then look after my little boy and stuff. It's no wonder he's burning out. But it's just something that I chuck myself into, and like I say, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But it's not been that expensive to sort. But
you said that you don't think of yourself sort of as an entrepreneur because you've not made anything, but I think you noticing that there's this opportunity and knowing your skill set and being like, oh, I could actually couple these things together and make something really quite successful. I think that is ingenuity, as anyone would think of it, really. I think that's. And it's something where, you've gone into it for garden furniture, which obviously I don't think it's anyone's passion project, but it is something where you can be like, well, I didn't know anything about this. So it's transferable then into whatever else you could also pursue with it. It's sort of becomes its own beast, really. And
it's a funny one, really, because one of the suppliers that I work with, his wife contacted me because she needs a new website.
There you go.
So it's funny how things work, and it just kind of shows that it's not the businesses that you're buying from, it is the people. Yeah. So he works with a lot of like B&Q, for example. He works with like 400 different people in the buying team over there, whereas in this business, it's just me that does it. Rachel kind of dips in and out of it where she can because she's obviously looking after my little boy and stuff. But we're just trying to see where we can take it. But I think that entrepreneurial thing, I don't know if I'm being unfair to myself on that respect, but I can kind of trace it back that when I was 8 years old, I got a pool table for Christmas. And rather than trying to play on it, I tried to make money out of it. So I was living in Nottingham at the time, and this pool table, it was like a standard one you get from Argos, like a kiddish kind of size. Yeah. And I went onto my mum's computer, opened up Publisher, and started creating leaflets for like Tom's Pool Bar or whatever I called it. I printed them all out on A4 paper, and I went out the door, and my mum was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm just going to hand out these leaflets." I was like 8 or 9 years old. She's like, "What leaflets? Like who's getting you in child labour?" And then she saw the leaflets, and then she was like, "You can't just have people turning up at the house," because it was in the garage. Like, you can't have people turning up just randomly playing pool and whatever. So obviously that business didn't go ahead, but that's kind of my very first memory of, I think, where it comes from of, okay, I've been bought a pool table, I can play on it, but I can also try and get something out of it. Yeah. I think that's unlocking a memory in that respect. I think that's probably where it all started. And I don't know where that came from, because my dad, he was self-employed, but he wasn't running his own business. He was a financial advisor, so he was working for other people. And my mum was a bookkeeper, right? And she did run her own business, but it's not like it was an empire that she was trying to grow. And she was massively advertised, and she had a website and stuff. She was just kind of doing that from home for a few businesses locally. So I don't know where that kind of came from. I can't pin it, down to anything. But it's obviously kind of stuck with me somewhere, and I probably lost it in my teens. Talking about IT and the website side and not liking it and all that kind of thing. But then somewhere in my early 20s, it's kind of come back. I don't know if it's my degree that's kind of reignited it all. I don't know, but that's kind of where I guess it all comes from.
Definitely entrepreneurial in my eyes. But on that note, I'd like to very much take us into our first game of the day. Okay. Are you both ready? Is producer Molly ready? Are you ready here? So I'd like to introduce you to my new game called Fail or Fiction. Okay.
All right.
So in this section, I will share 3 stories. Okay. One of which is false and 2 of which are true fails.
All right.
You 2 are going to be against each other. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you have to guess which one
competition
is the fail.
Now.
Okay. Do you understand the rules?
I do you
understand the rules?
Yes.
Okay.
2 truths and a lie.
2 truths and a lie. So 3 stories. Here we are.
All right.
We have the story of Microsoft's attempt at social media with the 2012 launch of Social. It was so.cl. Social aim to combine search and social networking, allowing users to share interesting search results with friends. However, it failed to gain traction in the already saturated social media market dominated by Facebook and Twitter. After a few years of minimal user engagement, Microsoft quietly shut down social in 2017.
All right.
Story number 1. On to story 2. There was a luxury fashion brand called Elegant Encounters that decided to launch a line of high-end formal wear for pets. The goal was to capture the untapped market of pet owners who wanted their furry friends to look just as dapper as they did, particularly at red carpet events. They spent millions on development, especially within the celebrity sector, and they even hosted a pet fashion show. However, demand for tuxedos and ball gowns for dogs and cats was virtually non-existent, and the line was quietly discontinued after just 3 months.
All right.
Story number 3. So this one involves BIC, B-I-C, BIC, the company known for pens and razors. They ventured into the world of disposable underwear. In 1998, BIC introduced BIC disposable panties, designed to be convenient for travellers and people on the go. Despite the practical inventions, the idea was met with ridicule and poor sales. Consumers found the concept uncomfortable and wasteful, leading to BIC to discontinue the product shortly after its launch.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got social.
Yeah.
We've got the pet one, the Elegant Encounters, or we've got disposable panties.
Big.
2 are true.
All right.
One is
I know
false.
one.
Okay. I don't know any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I know one. It's one of them things that you've heard in like a pub or something stupid, and it's just in the back of my brain somewhere, and I'm digging it
You're
out.
kind of against each other, but let's talk openly. So which
Okay.
one do you think you know of?
I'll let you go first.
Social, I believe I've heard.
Okay.
So you've heard of social.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't think I'd heard of it, but I think I'd heard of the idea around it.
Right.
And I
okay.
wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft did that. But
Which one's your pub one?
see, I feel like you would have known the BIC one.
I think
You look like a disposable panty wearer.
Well, I'm not the target
my only
market.
thing was it seems like, here's the thing, people are insane about their pets. We had, all right, can I talk about it? Are we going forward
I
with
think
that?
so. What are we
We
talking
don't
about?
know what to
Collars.
talk about.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, don't
We
name
had
names. But
someone,
yeah.
a company, approach us for sales for dog collars that were like, you know, the Pandora charm bracelets where you like attach the different
Okay.
little things in, and so you could personalize your dog collar, and these things were outrageous. And I just think people
Sophia's
are so,
got one on today. I'm
yeah. People are so insane about their pets, but I just don't know if they're that insane. Is a company doing that?
I don't know. I don't know. Molly, any ideas from you behind the camera there? So Molly,
The fake.
The lie.
Okay.
Molly
Are we
thinks
ready
that
to cast our votes then?
So what's your final answer?
So 2 are true and 1's a lie.
Apparently. Yeah.
We'll find out in a minute. If I had a gun to my head, I would say I think the big one's true. So I think the middle one, the dog.
The dog
Elegant.
brand. Okay. Elegant. So you think that's the fake one?
I think that's the fake one.
Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. I think that's a fake one as well. But for the sake of, you know, some interest, I agree with you, but I will disagree with you, and I'll say that the Bic one's fake.
Big one. Okay. I can reveal that the fake story here wasn't Bic.
Okay.
Bic was a true story.
Yeah, I thought it would.
They
Oh,
invented
it's
the
gonna be
Bic
wrong.
disposable panties.
I thought
And
so.
even
it
I-
seems like something you'd see, like the disposable toothbrushes. You know, when you're at like a service station,
Yeah.
and they've
yeah.
got them, and you can click
Yeah.
one out a vending machine.
Yeah, pick a Bic.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem right, does it? But yeah, apparently that was a real thing. And trust me, don't check my search history, but I've been doing some researching today.
I bet.
So that leaves 2. It leaves Microsoft Social and it leaves Elegant Encounters.
Oh,
Like-
I don't know. I think I've changed my mind now, but go on. I'll
So
stick with my answer. But
you're going to see what your answer. I can reveal that the false story in this was Elegant Encounters.
Yeah.
You were both correct.
Had
Well
to
done.
be.
Wow,
Well
that
done.
is out of luck more than anything. But
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, like you say, you can imagine Microsoft always try and
They
copy
always
other
try,
people and
don't
jump
they?
on
Yeah.
something, you know, and there's been loads of kind of separate social media launches. Google had, was it Circle?
So,
I
yeah.
don't know.
The Circle?
Oh, they had. I mean, they've had some massive fails. Look at Google Glass. That went away,
yeah.
didn't it?
There's been loads, you
But
know.
yeah, I think the Elegant Encounters, because people do obviously buy tuxedos and dresses for their dogs, but is a company doing that?
You'd have to have a large customer base and how do you kind of repeat that business?
Yeah.
A dog can only have so many.
An award
ball
season's
gowns.
only for a couple of months a year.
Yeah.
This pro over here. Shall we do the third and final little segment?
Let's do it.
do
Let's
it.
lead
So this
straight in.
segment, I forgot what I've called it now. This one is called Mystery Mishaps. In Mystery Mishaps, I will share some clues. Okay? So I will share some clues, 5 clues in total, and you have to guess which company or which brand or which company I'm talking about. Okay? This one, I'll be honest, if you don't get it by clue 3,
I will say last time we played this, I got it after the first clue.
to be honest, I think I should have juggled these clues around because I think clue 1 ruins it.
We'll swap them.
Hold on, let me just have a little look.
So is it one company with multiple clues, or is it multiple companies with multiple clues?
It's one company, and
5
as
clues.
the clues sort of
Okay.
go through,
Okay.
at each level, attempt to guess.
Okay, I'm going to shuffle because that first clue will just give it all away. Okay,
This company has golden arches.
so which company, once a pioneer in the smartphone market, saw its dominance fade away due to its reluctance to move beyond its signature design, leading
BlackBerry.
to fuck's sake.
Wow.
Oh no, it's
That's
not.
that then. Thank you very much for your time, all.
It's not. It is, but it's not. It's the keyboard. It's the keyboard.
Yeah,
That's
I probably got it then.
That's the giveaway. And so clue 1, company revolutionized mobile communication in the early 2000s with its secure email system, which I could probably stop there. Then it goes on to say, and iconic physical keyboard.
Yeah.
So that would have been the major
You've just
giveaway.
over.
I'd like to think I've got it, but I don't actually know.
Sorry,
were
I
you a
jumped
B-
the gun.
Were you a BBMer then?
Oh,
I
I'd
did.
be
I
them.
never had a BlackBerry.
I didn't either. I was never on that train. No.
Really?
Yeah.
I took, cause I had my personal one. When I was in the police, they gave you Blackberries at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I don't like to brag. I had a Blackberry Bold, 2 Blackberry Bolts.
I had what was the other phone where the full thing used to swipe up?
Oh,
No,
that was a
no.
Nokia.
Where you could turn it to the side and then
That
swipe.
was a Nokia, wasn't it?
Was it a Nokia?
I think so. Yeah, because it was
I
a
had one of those, I had a
still with a
pink one.
physical keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
Nokia, 100%. Shall I tell you the clues anyway?
Go
just
on
in
then.
case. So it is at its peak. It was the go-to smartphone for business professionals and had a major following
Yeah.
among corporate users and
I'd have got it then,
governments.
I think, yeah.
Despite the rise of touchscreens and app-based operating systems, this company stubbornly stuck to its physical keyboard design, believing it to be irreplaceable. The company struggled to keep up with the innovation of competitors like Apple and Android, leading to a sharp decline in market share. And I'll tell you what. In what year did it cease manufacturing its own phones and license its brand to a third party?
Maybe
Is there a bonus point for the third party?
Yeah, you're not going to win anything, but you can take a bonus point.
What year did it?
So what year
Stop
did it cease
manufacturing.
manufacturing its own phones?
Maybe like around 2018 kind of time.
Ooh.
When were they
Stop
popular?
manufacture. So when I was at school, like
Yeah.
2007, 8, 9, that's kind of when they're in. But I know they were popular still after that.
Mm.
So I would say 2017, 18.
Yeah.
I'd probably
Molly,
say around that area.
have you got a
Molly?
guess?
So that was the first
14.
number that popped into my head, but now I'm. Yeah.
Or is it more recent? Like they haven't actually stopped manufacturing till like 2020.
I don't know any. I mean, I'm trying to think when I've been into phone shops. I can't think of any Blackberries.
Well,
that have been
who
on
goes
the,
into physical
Yeah,
phone
on the
shops
shelf.
now? Even really,
Yeah.
like where are they?
It's true. You're ready for the answer. So you're about 2014, I think you said, Molly.
I'll say 2017.
2017,
Yeah,
2018. I can reveal the year that it ceased manufacture was.
Is it a trick question?
It's still going. No, it's not. 2016.
Ooh.
So you weren't too far away. I
Split
think you
the
were
difference.
the closest.
Decent, yeah.
Tom, I think
Decent
you were
guess,
the
mate,
Yeah.
to be fair.
So no, that takes us to the end of mystery mishaps.
Well, who was the third party they licensed it to? Was it Samsung?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
It just says third party
Apple
marking the end of an era.
Yeah, it was
So
probably
Or
Samsung.
what's
or Huawei.
that Huey?
Yeah, is it pronounced Huawei?
Hawaii?
Hawaii.
That one.
Yeah,
yeah, horrible.
yeah, something like that.
That one.
Don't know what that
Well, look, that's the end of my games. Back to you, Tom.
Yeah,
momentarily.
really competitive.
That's BlackBerry's a crazy one because that was the business phone, wasn't it? And like now,
I would love
would-
a BlackBerry again.
do
You
you,
know, for
want
the
your old
keyboard.
man keyboard?
I like the keyboard.
You can't touch type.
I
Do
just
you
Yeah.
with your index finger
Like, you know,
when you're
hold a
like
bit
putting your
now.
glasses
Yeah.
on?
I've got my flip case.
It's a weird one though, because I remember like my uncle was like a managing director at Hertz, like the car rental place,
yeah.
and he had a BlackBerry. And then I'd go to school and like all the girls had a BlackBerry, and it's like, what's the target market for this? Is it 50-year-old blokes
Yeah.
or like in
Anyone
the
and
corporate world,
everyone.
or is it like 12-year-old girls who are messaging about the boys they
Yeah,
fancy?
it's like,
and all that kind of stuff?
on BBM.
Sometimes I think it came up quite recently. You know, I always look at my Facebook memories just to see like what I was up to and stuff. Like one year it was like, here's my BBM pin, add me.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, no.
This was like
That was only last year.
Also,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
how old are you then? Like, well in your 20s.
Yeah, this was 2023. wait, I'm still waiting for someone to message to
Yeah.
this day.
Please add Rob.
It will happen. It will happen. But,
Rob Spence, kiss.
exactly. XOXO. Yeah. But look, Tom, been great chatting to you today. What's next in your career? What's next in the business?
Yeah, so hopefully, if all goes well, it's either going to go down one or two paths. It's going to be the first path is it's going to just continue as my business, and it's just going to be me, and that's going to be the end of the story. The second path, which has a lot of variables attached to it, is we start growing in terms of staff numbers, which means I relinquish a little bit of control, but it means that the business grows. And the mission or the aim is to be the go-to guy for websites in Hinckley, in Leicestershire, and in the Midlands. I think the UK is probably a little bit of a reach because there's thousands of website people.
But none as good as you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, certainly at least to start with Hinckley and Leicestershire, want to be the number one web company. And I'd like to think that we're getting there, 60 5-star reviews on Trustpilot.
There we go.
So, hopefully that's a testament to the work that we do and the level of service that we provide. And yeah, I just want to keep growing in that respect. So whether I'll still be in my spare bedroom in the next 4 years or whether we'll have an office space, then we'll see. But yeah, just taking it as it comes, just trying to ride the wave and enjoy it because it could end next year. Someone might want to buy the business, you never know. And then I have to find something else to do with my, my
Your
busy
garden
hands.
business might take off, mate. That may become your main
Exactly.
focus.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows?
And then I
Who
can
knows?
retire and sit on a beach in Cuba with a fat cigar or something.
You could be the
never
next
know.
Oak Furniture Land.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
We'll see, yeah.
So if people do want to get in touch with you, I'm sure there's people out there who may want to. We will drop a link more than likely below the video and below the podcast. How can people reach out to you?
So I think the best way is probably on LinkedIn, because I'm quite active on there at the moment. So connect with me on LinkedIn, drop me a message. Email, obviously phone. I like hearing from people on kind of all mediums, really. So whether people need advice on their website, I'm always honest and impartial whether it benefits me or not. So if people want an audit of their website and it's not just a standard report that's cookie cut and I send it, I always do it via a video and I always give people pointers on what I think they can improve and what's working well. So if anyone wants one of those, then drop me an email or a message. But yeah, I'm always interested in meeting new people, learning about their business and journeys and stuff, which is why I'm doing all the networking and podcasting stuff as well. So yeah, if people want to reach out to me via those mediums, then I'd be more than happy to have a chat to them. Yeah.
Fantastic. But no, thanks so much for coming in. It's been great to chat.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic.
It's been good fun. And thank you to you, the listener, the viewer, for always staying tuned. Myself and Sophia release these podcasts.
Yeah,
Very
nice.
posh.
Nice.
Podcasts.
I like
We
it.
release
Yeah.
these
Doing a
podcasts
me.
twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. So make sure you stay tuned. Wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching us, make sure you hit subscribe, hit follow, and of course, stay tuned on social media. We are looking for guests currently, aren't we,
Yes,
Sophia? How
absolutely.
can they find us?
You
Marketing Wizards.
can send us a DM on any of our social media. We are How I Failed in Business pretty much everywhere. Or you can send us across an email. We are howifailedinbusiness@gmail.com.
That's right. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much for joining us. And until next time.
Bye.
All the best.
See you later.